What's up, guys? Let's do some more SQL. So, here we have our question: team scores in football tournament. So we have two tables: teams, matches. As you can see, our team ID is our primary key, and you have a name associated with that ID. And then you have our matches table. So match ID is our primary key. Host team and guest team are both foreign keys that reference our team table, right? And then you have our host goals and guest goals. And the question wants to know, we need to compute the scores of all the teams after every match, and points are awarded as follows. If a team receives 3 points if they win a match, and a team receives 1 point if they draw a match, and then a team receives no points if they lose a match. And we need to return the team ID, the team name, and the number of points that were awarded to each team after all the matches. And we need to order it by the number of points in decreasing order. And in case there's a tie, we need to order our records by team ID in an increasing order. So the top of our output should have the most number of points, and if there's any matches, our team IDs need to be in increasing order. All right, so let's look at this example. As you can see, so say we have all these different teams. Let's just write these all out: 20, 50, and let's look at each one. So say our host team is 10, and so let's go match by match. So for 10, they seem to have won here, so we'll give them 3 points. And let's look at the next one. This seems to be a draw between 30 and 10, so 4, and we'll give a point to 30. And then we have a 10 seems to have won here, so we'll give it another 3 points. 3, so that's 7. And then we have 20 seems to have won here. New York has won, so we'll give him 3 points. And then 50, Toronto won here, so we'll give it 3 points. So if you order that, that'll give us 10, 20, 50, 30, and 40 in this order, right? And that's what our output looks like, right? In this order. Now, how would we do this? So obviously we're going to do some joins. Looking at this table, we see that, let's draw our tables really quick. So we have our teams table, our matches table. It looks like, in this case, Chicago didn't play any matches, right? Or Chicago isn't in any of the host teams here or any of the guest teams here, but it still shows up in our output. So that means that we probably want to do some kind of left join between our teams table and the matches table. Otherwise, if we just did a regular join and inner join, then Chicago would be excluded from our output, which we don't want. So in this case, we would want to do a left join because we want to get all the teams in our teams table, right? So we're going to have to do some kind of left join with our teams table and matches table. Now, how many joins do we want to do? Do we want to do 2 joins, 2 left joins, 1 left join? Let's talk about that. So say we have our teams table, and say we're starting with the first one. and we want to do a left join on our host team. Wherever team ID, we do a left join for our teams table. Team ID equals our host team. That means we would get, match 1, and then we'd also get match 3. So these are our matches. And then we would do another left join, right, for our guest team. So wherever our guest team is. So then we would get match 2, match 2. Now, we don't really need 2 matches, right? We only need 1 match. We don't need 2 matches. We don't need to join on the match table twice. We only need to do it once. We just need to make sure that we get every row. We want to make sure we get this. We don't want to get whatever this is, right? So that means that we only need to do one left join, but we need to make sure our statement covers both the host team and the guest team, right? So we need to do a left join for on team ID equals host team or team ID equals the guest team. If you do it more than once, then you're adding unnecessary columns to your larger table that you're building. So we don't need multiple matches in one row, right? I hope that makes sense. So let's get on to coding. Okay, so here's our editor, and let's write this out. Let's do a select star from teams, and we'll do a left join matches on teams dot team ID matches dot host team, and let's just see what this looks like. So let's make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so as you can see, our table here, we have our team IDs. So this is just matching for the host team, right? So we can see that we have 2 rows in our example. As you can see from the beginning, we have 2 rows that have our host team, or our team ID 10 as the host team, right? So we should have 2 rows there. And that's what we're getting in this case. But it doesn't have the guest team in there. So we need to make sure that we are accounting for that. So we can do an or teams team ID equals matches dot guest team. Let's take a look at what this looks like. Or whoops, spell this wrong. Let's look at this. So now we get 3 rows, which makes sense. So the host team. So LeetCode FC was the host team for 2 different matches, but it was also the guest team in 1 match, right? And this looks like the right join. Now all we have to do is go through each one of these matches that we have, each row, each match that the team played, whether host or guest, and do a condition, do a case statement, and add up the number of points per match, right? So let's go ahead and do that. And so our output should have the team ID, the team name, and number of points. So let's type that. And we'll do a sum. And we'll do our case statement. When teams.team ID equals matches.host team. So this will check, is it the host team, right? And if they are the host team, then we can check if they won that game, right? So then we can do matches dot host goals is greater than matches dot guest goals. If so, we'll give them 3, and we just need to do this statement multiple times. So if they are the host team, and let's say if they draw the game, then we'll give them 1. And then let's do it again. If they are actually the guest team, and our guest goals are greater than our host goals, then we'll give them 3. And then one more time. If they are the guest team and our guest goals equals our match or our host goals, then we give them 1, and then we'll do an else statement. Else, we'll give them 0, which means that they probably lost, or they did lose. So then we'll name our new column. And now, since sum is an aggregation function, we need to group. So we'll group it based on these 2 rows. And we haven't ordered it yet, but we'll just take a look at the output. Okay. So here we're getting the correct number of points. We just need to order it correctly. So let's just do order by number of points in descending order, and then we need to order by our team ID, teams.team ID, in ascending order. It's taking some time. Okay, so this looks right. Let's see if this works. Cool, so it worked. Cool. Yeah, hopefully you learned something. Thanks for watching.